These coyotes are in captivity, so we have nothing to fear from them. But in Hillsborough County, Florida, wild coyotes are becoming a serious problem.
People living in one Bay Area neighborhood say coyote sightings are becoming far too common. They say some of the animals have come dangerously close to their homes and kids and pets. All new at 5:30, our James Jackson tells us what county commissioners are doing to deal with wild animals in the neighborhood.
People are nervous about their pets primarily.
He hasn't seen them, but Ralph Campbell says he sure can hear them.
I've heard some howling from time to time in the grove next door.
Those unnerving sounds, he says, are from coyotes in the area. Campbell has lived in this Carrollwood neighborhood for around 40 years and tells us it's not uncommon to hear neighbors talking about coming in contact with the animals. In fact, he says one man recently killed a coyote in his yard.
My neighbor came running over and said, "Hey, Ralph, did I get your attention?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I shot a coyote." And I said, "Great."
Now commissioners are taking action to help with the animal problems. This picture of a wild hog was taken at Home Depot in New Tampa.
I know there's incidents of the animals trying to access or go through pet doors, things like that. And so that's pretty scary.
Commissioners say Animal Services is stretched too thin. They're hoping to get some help from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission to handle all the calls.
Find out, how bad of a problem is this, get the information, see what we can do to, at a minimum, educate our citizens on the issue, what they can do to protect themselves.
Wildlife officials say if you do see a coyote, try to frighten them by using a noise or other things to drive home their fear of humans. Also, keep pets and food inside. County staff are expected to report back to commissioners with a plan of action in 30 days. James Jackson, ABC Action News.
Thailand, a land of mystery and beauty. But beneath its surface lies the horrors of the exotic animal trade.
This is Thomas Fuller in Bangkok. At the Thai capital's largest weekend market, you can find just about anything, from household goods to house pets. But behind these signs live endangered species like Madagascar turtles and marmoset monkeys from South America. Some are sold using a loophole in Thai law that bans importing the animals but allows selling them once they're in the country. Thailand has stepped up its efforts against wildlife trafficking in recent years. Last year, Thai authorities seized more than 16,000 animals.
The arrests are a good thing. It prevents illegal tiger trafficking. But at the same time, it means that we have to take care of all these tigers. They are supposed to be in the wild, but they end up in cages here.
In Ratburi in central Thailand, the government has one of 24 wildlife centers bursting with a wide assortment of exotic wildlife rescued from smugglers. Poom is a 3-year-old tiger raised by caretakers. Named after Thailand's main international airport, Suvarnabhumi, he was discovered in 2010, drugged and crammed in this suitcase. The passenger was heading to Iran. The number of confiscated tigers continues to rise as Thailand, one of the world's biggest hubs for illegal wildlife trafficking, cracks down. Rotbury houses 72 other tigers, including 5 cubs seized in October. There are plans to add 20 more cages. The center is also home to turtles and orangutans, who are particularly mischievous. Several have escaped, but they never go too far. They know where dinner is served. At the port of Bangkok, officials check for shipments of animal-related products. At Suvarnabhumi Airport, customs officers have seized elephant tusks from Africa and leopards on the way to customers in the Middle East. Birds are commonly trafficked. Animals that can't be easily released into the wild, like bears and tigers, are kept at the government wildlife centers. They'll spend the rest of their lives here, which can be decades. Animal activists say far too few traffickers have been arrested.
I think you'll find these wildlife confiscation centers being less crowded and less busy as they are right now if more money is put into wildlife law enforcement to go after the kingpins who are running this trade.
For now and for years to come, the caretakers at Thailand's government wildlife centers have their work cut out for them.
For most of us, our pets are family members. We do everything we can to keep them healthy and make sure that they live with us for as long as possible. But what do we do when traditional veterinary medicine doesn't work?
People, pets are like family, so when they're ailing, there's nothing more urgent than getting them treatment. And just as alternative treatments like acupuncture are being taken up by more and more Americans, so now pet acupuncture for our canine and feline companions. But does it work? ABC's Juju Chang went looking for answers.
From bearded dragons to pot-bellied pigs, man's best friend comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. But when they get sick, we don't want to treat them like guinea pigs. Instead, there's a growing movement to treat animals with the best that human medicine has to offer. Like physical therapy, hydrotherapy, chemotherapy, and yes, even alternative therapy.
They have a water fountain flowing as well, so we try to make things as relaxed for them as possible. I'll usually dim the lights.
Pet acupuncture, to be precise.
Nobody likes seeing their pet in pain.
Snoot suffered from chronic back problems, which is common among Shih Tzus. He wound up paralyzed.
He couldn't use his back legs, and acupuncture works primarily via the central nervous system. So there really isn't an equivalent conventional medicine to stimulate the nerves that have been damaged in the way that acupuncture can.
3 million humans in the U.S. use this ancient Chinese therapy for everything from debilitating pain to quitting smoking. But at Animal Medical Center in New York, they're using it extensively for cases like Snoot's. 3 treatments a week cost $100 a shot.
You make sacrifices for things that you care about, things that you love. We all do it in a different way. This guy's given me great companionship, and I didn't want to lose him, so I make those sacrifices for him.
Delilah's owner, Mark, swears that acupuncture made all the difference.
She has a bad back, a bad neck, and acupuncture saved her life. We almost had to put her down last August. She was in such bad shape.
Really?
And traditional medicine didn't help. She had conventional therapy, but this works much better.
While animals can't tell if the treatments work or not,
it's okay. It's all right.
These owners say their pets' actions speak louder than words.
I know it was acupuncture because the other stuff didn't work. Yeah. After these treatments, she was like a little puppy again.
Well, it's not for everybody, but, you know, the proof is in the pudding. You know, if you do it and it works, it works. You know, you can't really fool a dog. You know, people say, oh, it's just a placebo, but it's a dog. The dog doesn't know whether or not it's a placebo. They just feel better or they don't feel better.
But there's a lot of skepticism, too. Veteran vets say there's simply no science to prove that sticking dogs with needles is good medicine.
Well, the problem is that there's no consensus. So you'll find some studies that show there's an effect, and you'll find that there's studies that show no effect whatsoever.
Dr. David Ramey helped shape the guidelines for alternative therapies for animals on behalf of the American Veterinary Medical Association.
Another half-truth is that there's such a thing as an acupuncture point. You know, nobody's ever been able to demonstrate that there is such a thing.
But even critics can agree the best medicine for your pet is a lot of TLC.
I think that they should spend time with their animals and take them on walks and massage them and pay attention to them.
Good boy.
Which doesn't cost anything and yet is still priceless. For Nightline, I'm Juju Chang in New York.